Okay, well, good afternoon. I just wanted to talk from a different perspective. As a lawyer, as a practicing intellectual property lawyer, you have to deal with clients, and I wanted to talk about a couple of experiences that I've had in my legal career working with clients. There's a journalist from America, and he said that no one ever went broke underestimating the intelligence of the American public. And so sometimes when you have to deal, when you're Taiwanese and you're Taiwanese lawyers in the future, you'll have to deal with people from my country, and you'll have to try to explain to them that this is a different region with a different language, and you need to protect your trademarks in that language. And a case like this happened in China. There's a very famous company called Pfizer, and they have 150 intellectual property lawyers that work inside Pfizer in New Jersey. And they had a product called Viagra. And in Taiwan, it's called Wei Argan, right? Wei Argan, people know this. So, and then in China, they called it Wei Ge. And of course, Pfizer went ahead and they filed its first-to-file system in Taiwan, right? It's a first-to-file system in mainland China. And they didn't file, they filed the word Viagra in English, but they did not file it in Chinese, either in the Taiwanese name, that's Wei Argan, or Wei Ge for mainland China. And so many other companies went ahead and filed that. And they had to spend many, many thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to undo this kind of thing. We had another client who was from Europe, and it was a famous chocolatier. And I remember they came to our office and they said, we would like to enter the Chinese market. We are a famous chocolate company. And I said, well, what do you want as your trademark? And they said the name of their company, the name of their product. And I said, you should protect the local Chinese name, because when it gets imported to Taiwan, when it gets imported to mainland China, you have to call it something. The local market has to call it something. They refuse to do it. We're a proud European chocolate company. We will not use a Chinese mark. And so a colloquial name existed, and when the colloquial name was used, some very smart mainland Chinese chocolate company decided to file that mark, and then they owned it. Then later the chocolate company comes back to us and says, you've got to stop these guys. They're using our mark. And I said, well, I told you to go ahead and file a Chinese name, file a Chinese mark, but they refused to do it. You know, they didn't do it at that time. Somehow they got amnesia, and then it was impossible for them to get that trademark back. So I just want to tell you two stories about how it is you'll have to deal with clients. If they don't protect, then they dedicate that to the public. And so all intellectual property, I know we talked about a lot of different countries, but it's all local. Unless you prosecute, unless you protect locally in the local country, then you won't have protection. So that's my story. I'll stay with it. Thanks.
刚刚呢 ，Dr. Lehman 讲的就是在中国你要申请才有保护。那讲的这个巧克力的案件，然后讲了威尔刚的案件。那另外就是 iPad 的案件，您看一下我们那个新闻稿，就一开始是$55,000，最后用$6000万settle 掉。所以其实要申请才有保护，那这个产权很重要。